A lot has happened in the past couple of days in Britain with the Reform Party, the Conservative Party, and honestly, kind of Labour as well. And we're going to cover it much more intensively on the podcast on Monday. But I just wanted to talk about this one particular bit that really stuck out like a barb in the back of my mind, and I despised it. So, in Britain at the moment, we have people like the Defence Secretary saying, look, we've just lost control of our borders. We've had millions of people in. We are still getting 1 million a year in, but net that's about 500,000 and the rest. And of course, we get thousands of illegals a day. Britain has lost control of its borders. And the product of decades of unlimited mass immigration is that at the rate things are going, as Matt Goodwin has projected, if we carry on and just nothing else changes, just exactly as we are right now, in 40 years, the white British will be a minority in their own homelands. Right? This is, of course, a massive concern. And this is something that is carrying on because what this conceals are the age brackets. Right? If it was the white British children are the majority in their bracket, but it was the old people that were minority in their bracket, well, that's different. But it's inversed. In British schools, in 1 in 4 schools, white British children, really this is English children in England, are the minority in these schools. In 72 schools, no white British pupils are recorded. Again, these will all be in England. In 72 schools in England, there are no English kids. That is the extent of colonization in this country. In 454 schools, they make up less than 2% of the student body. This is our future. This is what's happening, and this makes this inevitable, unless something changes. Now, we can change this. We can just stop people coming in and encourage those people who shouldn't be here to go home. And the immigration issue is a major issue because, of course, one of the things that we're constantly told is, well, we need this to make up for the fact that people aren't having children. But as the studies are showing, immigration, particularly at levels large enough to make a demographic difference, is not a solution to demographic decline, but instead it's accelerant. It makes it more difficult for young people to buy houses, to actually start families, to actually want to have kids. And it makes their world less safe and less predictable. So they feel less comfortable and less ready to have children. It is the immigration itself that is in part causing demographic decline now. In the past, that may not have been the case, but apparently now that is the case. So this is a real and honestly is the most salient issue that the British have. Because we keep talking about British values. Well, British values are held by British people. You derive them from British people. If you don't have British people, you won't get British values. And if the British people are not the majority in their own homeland, then you won't get an expression, the sort of political expression of the British people won't be British values, won't be human rights and the common law and things like this. You'll get different and foreign legal systems beginning to instantiate themselves in our country. Why would we want that? Moreover, why would we deliberately hand away our country to strangers who all have countries of their own? All of their countries are run by people who are like them for the interests of that national group. Why would we give up our country to them as well? Why are we doing this? This is reverse colonization, and there's no reason that we should be doing this. It's not solving the problem, and it's not something that spiritually we should be permitting. And this should be a fairly easy thing for any right-wing politician to say. It is not appropriate for us to give away our country to strangers. This is wrong. We have children and they should be the inheritors of our country. Otherwise, I think they might have just cause to hate us if we just let this go. But Richard Tice was recently interviewed by Stephen Edgington, and my God, it is insufferable to see reform being so weak on every goddamn issue. We're going to watch this, but I tell you what, it made my teeth grind. Let's watch.
And he predicts that by 2063, Britain will be minority white British. Is that a concern of yours at all?
Yeah, I don't think that's I haven't seen those predictions, and 2063 is a long way off. But
It's a few decades.
Yeah, it's a few decades. Well, it's I'm trying to do the maths quickly in my head, but
It's 40 years. Like, it's entirely possible Richard Tice will still be alive. I mean, I think he's 50, so.
it's in most people. I'll be long gone. Put it like that.
Oh. Richard Tice has got 3 kids. But his immediate thought, I'll be long gone. Yeah, so I'll probably be long gone as well. So what? I'd like my children and my grandchildren to grow up in England. I'd like them to inherit a country that is theirs. Like, what kind of insane reaction is I'll be long gone? Like, weirdly, he's exactly the same. He's in exactly the same position as Otto English, like in just all of the other radical left-wingers who are like, we should just destroy Britain because I hate it and it's evil and racist, right? But that's their position. Most of us will be dead in 2100, and who cares? Well, I care. I care. I care what happens in the future. But look at this smug face. Oh, I'll be long gone. I'll be long gone. It's not my problem. Oh, thanks, boomer. Like the quintessential classic liberal position of, well, if I'm dead, what difference does it make? Because you care about other people. The world is not just about yourself. This is atrocious. This is utterly unacceptable. This is not an acceptable answer from what purports to be a right-wing party. The very point of being right-wing is to be the custodian of the heritage of the nation. You are the ones, we are the ones who are carrying this into the future as it was handed to us by our forefathers. We are supposed to be handing it down to our children. We're not supposed to be saying, you know what, I don't care because I'll be dead, and therefore I just want to get mine now and use up all of the resources that are available as much as possible to get what I want for me. This is not about future generations. This is the Burkean contract is long gone. That's not acceptable, is it? It's completely unacceptable. And this smug, like this, I think, is more damaging to reform than any stupid thing that Nigel Farage has done that day. This is atrocious. This is really bad. Like, I can't believe that Richard Tice didn't have a prepared answer for this.
In my head, but it's in most people. I'll be long gone. Put it like that. I think that the UK is we are a
what, a melting pot?
A Christian nation. We should stand up and be proud of that.
But we're not going to be a Christian nation if this carries on. We won't be a Christian nation, and even then, it's debatable to say whether we are a Christian nation.
And let's see what happens. But
let's see what happens. Well, look, right. There's a thing about numbers, Richard, is that you can count them, right? And you can make predictions, abductive predictions. Inductive predictions about what's going to happen if you just continue adding numbers together, because numbers add up. And so if we just keep adding numbers, then we can predict. We don't need to let's just wait and see. We know exactly what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. We are going to lose control of our country, and other peoples from around the world will gain control of it. Why do we want that? We can't just be like, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. No, we know what's going to happen. So we should take affirmative action now, while we are still the overwhelming majority, to make sure that doesn't become the case. Shouldn't we? I mean, aside from all of the other issues that mass immigration has brought, and the overpopulation of the country, like the country is falling apart. Maybe we should do something about that too. But like this, it just seems very straightforward and self-evident, doesn't it? That we should just say, right, okay, no more immigration.
At the end of the day, what we should be focusing on is getting our own people back into work, training up our own people, having, in a sense, Nigel's talked quite recently about families. We need more British-born people, so that we need to be less reliant on immigration, and that's the issue. And
okay, then we need to stop the immigration, because the immigration is causing our demographic decline. You concede all of the points, and then you just go, well, let's just wait and see what happens. We don't need to do that. We need to have action, and so reform should have policies on this basis, on the understanding that the facts are as the facts are, the numbers are as the numbers are, and if we continue like this, we have a predictable result that will come into view that is utterly undesirable. We shouldn't be doing this. And so from like, well, we just need to get people back into work and then just have them have a breeding contest with every other population group in the world, not exactly feasible, is it? Like, it's probably not going to work. And not really fair either. Why do we have to enter into a breeding competition with the entire world? Why can't we just stop people from moving here? No one's rights are invaded when you do that. We have every right to say, we, the British people, don't want any more immigration. We've never wanted any immigration. We've been backstabbed over and over and over. The number of knives in our back on this issue is, I mean, it's got to be at least a dozen, right? From the days of Enoch Powell, it's got to be at least a dozen knives in the back. And yet, even now, with this being, the anti-immigration being the most popular position of any political position in the country, 67% saying nope, it's gone way too far and it needs to be reduced. He still can't come out and just be like, yeah, we're going to just stop it. We just need to stop the immigration, really. That's the answer. Because otherwise we have an inevitable consequence that is highly undesirable.
And on we go.
It will be a huge moment, though, in British history. For the first time ever in this nation's more than 1,000 years of proud history, the country will be minority white British. And many
wait, like that. You're obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah, because it's his future. Stephen Edgington is what, 25? He'll be 65 when finally someone else, other ethnic groups get to determine the nature of the country in which he lives. He'll still be alive, Richard. So you can't even kick that can down the road. And even then, I don't want to condemn my children to what is going to be some sort of cross between Lebanon and South Africa. I don't see why that's desirable. I don't see why you can't be like, yeah, no, that's a good point. That is terrible. We should probably stop that.
Okay.
So that many other people, Rich. It's not just me, to be fair.
The way you ask the questions, right? Matt Goodwin's made a forecast. He may or may not be right, right?
Yeah, it might be way worse. Right? We might get more Boris waves because that's like the normal projection for immigration. We might get 3-4 more Boris waves that advance it from 2060 to 2040. Like, this is madness. We are being totally betrayed.
I don't know what his computer model is. I've not seen...
He just looks at the data that we have. You have access to the census data. We know what the immigration is coming in every year. And if you just extrapolate that on what is happening, that's what you get. It's really not that complicated, actually.
But the sensible discussion to have is, what sort of population do we want to have?
Not one that is majority foreign. It's really not that complicated. I don't know why you're equivocating on this, but well, I mean, a discussion needs to be had. Everyone knows. Like, there was a woman on GB News the other night that was just like, look, this is keeping me up at night. I'm really afraid for the future of the country. And good, so she should be. It's keeping me up as well. I think everyone's feeling it. There is something in the air where there's like, oh, right, we're going to cross a threshold at some point that is unrecoverable. And it's probably best not to, isn't it? This has been totally weak, totally pathetic, really embarrassing for reform, deeply embarrassing for reform. This is a public humiliation. If the far-right party in Britain can't even be like, yeah, maybe the British deserve to be the majority in their own homelands, like, that's crazy. I've seen liberals posting this, like Drew Pavlou or whatever his name is. Like, he's a liberal. He's, way more left-wing than you would think Richard Tice would be. And even he's like, yeah, no, the British should remain the majority population of Britain. Obviously, why would you not want that? Like, this is sensible. And if Reform can't even stake their claim to that, the British deserve the homeland of Britain, then we are totally lost.